All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. All right, today we're going to take a look at very simple two-high defense, easy to get in and out of coverages, easy to adjust every formation that you're going to see. So it's just a very simple 3-4 tight front structure, two-high safety defense, okay? Make sure you check out some of our partners, Game Strat, sideline replay system we use at the school I am currently at Bishop Kenny, and then at schools I've been at previously. If you're looking for highly reliable, highly affordable sideline replay system, very friendly staff, easy as far as their customer relations. You can call them if you have any problems. Make sure you check out Game Strat. They're always great. They've even helped us on game days with issues. Dome, which is the HeadWear sponsor with Play Fast Football in the school that I'm currently at. Here's one of our fitted hats from last year. All right, Dome is custom headwear. You can change, make your own hat. They have an online hat builder. You can design your own hat. You can change the style of hat. You can go from trucker mesh to fitted, different panels, different panel colors. You can put stitching, words, whatever you want, your own logo on it. So completely customizable. So if you like the ability to customize your hats, make sure you check out Dome. Baker Sporting Goods, company we use for coaches' shirts like this. Our uniforms come from there. A lot of our player gear comes from there. Our fan stores, things with teachers we do in the school come from there. So make sure you check out Baker Sporting Goods. JustPlay, which is the software we use for our playbooks and then presentations, game plans, things that we do with our team. The presentation mode is phenomenal. The play drawing tool to me is the easiest to use, so I absolutely love JustPlay. I've been using it for a couple of years now. All right, Difference USA, which is the ultimate striking machine. You get thousands of reps without needing a partner. We have a couple here at our school. I had a couple at my previous school. They can go in your weight room. They can go out on a practice field. You don't need a partner. You're getting thousands of reps. Elbows in, thumbs up, different tensions on the coil. So as the kids get stronger, it makes it harder, all right, to lev that Difference USA pad in. All right, so it builds with a progression with different coil tensions. So younger kids to older kids. It's just a phenomenal way to get a bunch of different reps striking off the field, on the field, in season, out of season. So make sure you check out Difference USA. And then Coach Tools, which is basically a player evaluation system. If you're tired of doing things the old-fashioned way, writing it by hand, grading system, coach wants some type of report or some type of letter grade or number grade on players, and you've been doing it the old-fashioned way, this is software that's now going to allow you to create your own. All right, basically you can build it around the software and you can create your own headings or your own labels that you want to put down, and then you can put the grades in there. So it takes a lot of the work off the old-fashioned write everything down on a pad or pad it or chart it and then do a grade. You can filter it right into their software. So make sure you check out Coach Tools. All right, so if you were just looking at, for me, a lot of times I think about this with our younger players. If we were looking for a simple way that we could install a defense, that we could line up to every personnel group and every formation that we saw without a lot of major adjustments, what I would call major adjustments, or a lot of tweaks day in and day out, I would install a tight front, two-high defense. All right, and the way I would explain it is safeties relate to two. So within our toolbox, we're going to be a quarters toolbox team, and we're going to have our safeties always relate to two, and we're going to teach them the defense, all right, personnel-wise, formation-wise. We're going to teach them they're responsible to relate to two, and they're responsible to figure out what coverages we need to be in based on where the number two is and who the number two is, right? So if you play the tight front and you can keep in a 3-4 world with two down outside backers, okay, you can keep the box integrity the same all the time. When you start to get three-man surfaces, that's going to be up to you to build in your answers, whether you be bumping backers, doing something different with your coverage, all right, that's going to be up to you with how you want to do that. But if you just want to stay in a very simple tight world 3-2 box, okay, it's very generic from the standpoint, if they come out in 2x2, and they're 10 personnel. Safeties relate to two. If two is removed, we know that we're installing day one our palms to recheck. Our outside backers, all right, they know that if they have a two removed, they're going to be, all right, in the palms coverage. So now we've got the built-in automatic push. So to this side where the back is, there's a push alert. Back pushes. Mike's got to go. Sam's got to go, or Star, whatever you want to call it. And we're in our normal palms world. Away from the back. All right, couple things you can do. Day one install, all right, away from the back. Here's your palms player, all right, backs away. I can be faster probably to the fit. I can fold a little bit quicker. This side we want to hang a little bit longer because we might get RPOs. right? He can line up, all right, a little bit wider, all right, and he can line up a little bit tighter because of where the back is, okay? And then the will basically becomes kind of extra, so a lot of teams in the tight front 3-4 world, maybe away from the back, they might insert a backer as a fourth rusher, or you can use him as a spy guy or an extra player on the quarterback, because coverage-wise, we don't really need him. If the back is over there and he doesn't travel pre-snap, if the back is that side, we've got 4-on-3, 3-on-2, the will or the joker or an extra player. Some teams will send a jack joker off the edge, all right? Some teams will send a will versus 2x2, okay? So you can auto-adjust in sending a fourth. But if you just wanted to talk about very simple, generic systems, you stay with the 3-2 box, you stay with palms to both sides. The inside backers have to know where the back is because they're alerted that they're on the push side, okay? The backside inside backer or the backside jack, you could build in a call where the fourth guy goes, okay? If 2 becomes a tight end, all right? Now we stay within our toolbox. We tell the safety, 2 is tight. You have 2 receivers, but 2 is tight. Now we're going to play quarters. So now we're going to take that Sam, Jack, all right? We're going to play him as the D-gap force player, curl flat, first to the flat. We're going to play our safety a little bit tighter, probably 8x1 or 10x1, depending on the player. Inside, all right, inside leverage on the tight end, and we're going to play quarters so that if the tight end puts hands on, we get an extra fitter. Tight end to the flat. Sam's got to match the first thing to the flat. Corner plays all of 1. 2 to the flat, we can rob number 1. 2 under, we can rob number 1. Mike becomes now a 3 vertical player, so that back vertical may end up on the Mike because you're living in a quarters world, right? So you're in a quarters world where if they had a chance to get a 3 vertical, that hook curl player's got to carry that 3 vertical, okay? And then to the backside, you're still playing palms. All right, again, no big deal, very simple. If they went double tight and they brought another tight end in, this side knows the rules. The safety relates to 2. 2 gets tight, all right? I go to a quarters call right away. There's my D-gap flat force player. There's my extra hat in the run game. Okay, so now we build it into where it's almost a 9-man box versus runs. Safeties have 2 vertical. Jack and Sam have 2 out or first to the flat. Okay, and then we've got to understand that the Mike or the Will, whoever has 3 on their side, has to be the 3 vertical player. So now we've gone from a palms world and we've gone into a double tight world. 2 tight, safeties relate to 2. Now we just play quarters on each side. Okay, so if you got in a world where it was 2 back, so you come out on this side, there's your 2, and let's just say for right now, sniffer there, whatever the case may be. So on this side, safety relates to 2. He sees 2 removed, he makes his palms call. All right, that's the world we live in. We relate to 2. Left safety comes out, he doesn't have a 2, 2's in the backfield. Okay, so now what we can do is we can tell the left safety, hey, if the sniffer is on your side in the backfield, go ahead and play quarters and read it off the sniffer. So when he was at tight end, we played quarters. When he's in there on your side, we can go ahead and play quarters, read it off him. D-gap, force, first to the flat. Corner's got all of 1. We're reading off a 2. 2's in the fit, we're in the fit. 2 vertical is me. 2 to the flat, I can rob post-it curl of 1. So now we're back in the quarters world, right? If he went to the other side, now you can kind of gain a bonus player where you can tell that left safety, all right, look, if 2's not on your side and he's on the other side, if he's in the backfield, we're just going to make like a steal call. All right, we're going to make a steal call, or we're going to take that backside safety and we're going to play him off the sniffer strong. All right, so now on the backside, there's a single. We still have a flat player, so now we can put the corner on a half. All right, and you can, I know, you can call it whatever you want. All right, so let's just say, I know Bronco is out there in the TCU world, but let's just say we made a bull call back here. All right, the bull tells us that it tells us backer support, but to a single, it now replaces our version of a sky call when we have a safety down, like in our 4-2-5 or our 3-3 stack system. So this is just an inverted, all right, an inverted version of 2 where there's the flat player, there's the half player, he's got all of 1 down the field deep, okay, because they have a single side and we're not involving the jack in the rush game. We're rushing 3, dropping 8. All right, your will becomes an extra player. If everything is set to the strong side, now you've got your palms coverage there, and now you've got the safety cheating or stealing off of a sniffer vertical or something along those lines. So now if you got counter runs coming back and they brought him back, well, if they brought him back and I'm stealing off him, I go back. Okay? So it's very simple to tell the safeties that they relate to 2. Okay? If we put it on the other side, and the great thing about this is if you have the right personnel to do so, you just treat it as a hybrid world where you don't even trade sides. All right, if you want to play tempo teams, FIB teams, teams like that, play your defense the same way. We're going to be a tempo defense. We're going to play with hybrid players, depending on who your kids are. All right, 2 comes out here, 2 goes into the backfield there. Okay, this safety looks at it and he goes, oh, I got a 2 removed, so I'm just going to go ahead and say palms. All right, so I've got the 2 removed, so I just go ahead and make my call over here. Backside, I don't have a 2 removed. Oh, he's in the backfield, but he's on my side. I'm going to go ahead and make my quarters call. And now we're just going to play quarters where corner's got all of 1. Sam has first thing to the flat. I've got 2 vertical. If 2 is in the run fit, all right, or he's in their running scheme as a blocker, now I can gain an extra hat on front side runs between the Mike and the Sam in the alley. Backside runs, I can play him behind the Mike if the Mike runs. If the Mike plugs, I can play him over the top. All right, because now that we've lost the threat of a 2 vertical, all right, the only thing that, in the coverage beater world is if they send him back and him vertical, all right, that one becomes a little bit tough if you're fitting things off the sniffer, because that's actually the 2 now. So when he goes away, he becomes a 3, and that becomes a 2, all right? So the offense obviously can draw up some beaters here and there. But in the simplest way to relate it, I have a 2 removed, I make a palms call. The jack hears palms, he knows how to play palms, he is a removed backer. On the backside, they get a quarters call. Sam knows he's got first to the flat, he's D-gap force. I know I've got 2 vertical. If 2 is fast to the flat, I can rob post a curl of 1. Okay, so everybody can see it. If this safety didn't have a 2 and he found out, all right, let's say you're living in like a split back world. Okay, so now you're living in a split back world, so we get palms here. Safety looks in and says the 2's in the backfield. We're okay with playing quarters, we'll treat that as a number 2. Okay, certainly fine if you want to do it that way. There's no issue with that at all. It's very simple. I don't have a 2. Oh wait, there's my 2. My 2's back there. I can play quarters on my side. I have a 2. He's removed. I can play palms on my side. Simple. If the 2 was the sniffer to the other side, all right, I can even draw him up if you want as a tight end. We're going to make the steal call. Now when we make the steal call, we're going to put the backside safety over here, ready to play 3 vertical. Kind of like you're living in the poach world, right? So we're playing palms here, but I'm stealing off a 3. So I'm going to be ready to play 3 vertical. This side becomes the bull call. He's got the flat. He's got the half down. All right, that replaces our sky system, star system that we use in our 4-2-5-3-3 stack world. Okay, so now you still have a flat player. Now you can play the half there. We're still talking about sending 3, dropping 8. All right, so now we're in a palms world. Okay, and 3 is tight to the other side. We're going to steal it with the backside safety. Okay, now we get in a world where all 3 are wide on one side. Okay, all 3 are wide on one side. So now my safeties look. The front side safety knows that he has a second one. He sees 3. He can start yelling trips. I've got 3. I've got 3. Backside safety, go by your rules. Okay, I don't have a 2. All right, and in the 1-back world, here's the only funky thing is if you're telling your safety, hey, when they're in the 1-back world, all right, and they're in the 10 personnel world, don't count the back. We're talking about receivers then. Okay, easiest way to do that is make the front side safety. All right, your front side safety now, when he gets 3, he starts yelling travel. So if I'm on the front side, I see that there's 3 receivers out there. As soon as I see 3, I start yelling, hey, travel, travel, I've got 3, travel. Now we can take our backside safety over, and now we'll play our normal mix rules. Okay, we'll play our normal mix rules with both safeties to the same side because we travel. All right, so now 3x1 we can build the travel world in. Still bull here. You can go to the flat. You can go off the half. You guys play the mix concept. Man on 1. Palms with the 2 safeties. The jack plays palms. It's the same thing we've always done. If they go 4 strong, I get the will involved in the push, and the Mike becomes, all right, a possible spy or add-on player. Right? So that's in the travel world. You could look at it from an even simpler world. Okay? And in the one-back world, you could stay in your palms coverage. Okay? If you stay in the palms world, you got to put the jack in between 2 and 3. He knows what it means in palms. All right, so once you make a palms call, not a mix call, the jack would know to go in between 2 and 3, and now you just steal or poach the backside safety. All right, so you're playing palms poach, you're playing steal, you're playing triangle, trio. You know, there's 80 million ways to describe how to play that. Your backside safety, 10 personnel. I don't have a 2. I don't count the back in 10 personnel. I only count it in 2 back or 20. All right, 3's over there, no 2. I'm going to steal, poach, whatever you want to call it. All right, so you've got yourself a system where the tight box stayed, all right? Tight box stayed, 3-2 box stayed. Sam and Jack had very simple rules. You've got all your coverage structures built in. All right, and then 3x1 is up to you whether you want to travel, whether you want to poach or steal. All right, that's up to you, but it's very simple for your safeties. You get in the 21 world. Okay, so now we get, let's say, the 21 world. We'll draw it old school, under center. 21 world. Corner sees a number 2 attached. Sorry, safety sees a number 2 attached. He's going to make a quarters call. Jack is your D-gap force player, first to the flat. Okay, this side right here, we already know we're getting a quarters call. Your will is your hook curl 3 vertical player. Backside, 2 back personnel. I don't have a 2, but he's in the backfield. Okay, if it's straight I, right here, all right, I can play it as a quarters concept, and I can say, hey, any 2 my side vertical, I've got to play. I'm going to be fast to the fit inside the Mike and the Sam. I'll play off the Mike if run goes away. Okay, you could teach this as a steal concept, depending on if they were a team where the fullback brought you to most of the runs. You could play this as steal, fullback here. I'm going to add myself to the front side. You still have a bull situation where you've got a flat player and a half player, so you're good there. The Mike can be a weak side hook to curl dropper, 3-on-2. Okay, if you got full flow or 3 receivers out to the front side, the right safety's also there, so now you can get 4-on-3 depending on how you want to play it. Right? So now you got yourself into a system where 2 back, I want to play this like quarters. We make a hawk call when we want to use him as an extra player. Steal means I'm going to steal off the fullback. He comes my way. It basically becomes quarters. He goes away. I become cutback. All right? That's basically an old-fashioned way of playing quarters. That safety's almost extra without a 2 to his side. That's an immediate vertical threat. Old school, pro-I. All right, how many guys out of this set are going vertical? Now, I know we don't see that anymore, but you still got to dress it. When you draw this system up, I can draw it up to anything you want it to draw it up to. All right, so let's say we get like a wing T set. All right, and we stay, we don't do anything to the front. Now, the key to me is trying to not do anything to the front, because the tight front is what freaks people out. If they add a tight end or they do anything to get you out of tight front, they know right away to do that in the game plan. You're out of tight front, they get back into an over-under world. So we're not going to get out of the tight front. We're going to adjust with backers and safeties. That's just the way we do it. Okay, so on this side here, if you wanted to have some type of quarters concept, right? Some type of quarters concept. That would be, this would be your flat force player. There's your corner. There's your safety. All right, the thing you'd have to work in this world. All right, obviously right now there's a lot of good angles here. So motion, pin, pull, buck, sweep. The thing you're going to have to work is, if these guys are quarters players, if I'm man on 1 and 1 blocks, I've got to go. If I'm man on 2 and he blocks, I got to go. So we're adding guys to the fit from the 3rd level. Right? If you don't like that, okay, if you don't like that, you carry one simple adjustment. Tight end wing, we're going to make a joker call. All right, as soon as we get tight end wing, we're going to make a joker call. We're going to send him inside the wing. Okay, and we're going to play some version of cover 2. All right? So, again, you can build in all your adjustments. You can build in everything you want to. If this was day 1 install, and I said, hey, look, you've got 2 to your side, 2's a tight end, go ahead and make a quarters call. We'd be lined up, ready to play. Whether that is good enough for us versus that set, is not the argument today. It's not a game plan argument. It's an argument to say no matter what they gave us, okay, no matter what they gave us, we could line up and make coverage calls every day of the week. So if we got tempo, if we got formation, if we got anything we wanted, we could make coverage calls every day of the week and be fine. So within like 2 days of your install, you can get an offensive guy that thinks they're kind of funny and they come out with 8 million different sets. We line up to it every day of the week. They come out in flex bone and they go, we've already kind of covered this look, but they come out in flex bone. I've got 2 tight. We're going to play our tight front. We're going to play our 5-man box. We're going to play quarters to each side. We'd be good to go based off where number 2 is. All right, we'd be good to go quarters on each side based on having a 2, and the 2 is tight. We're good to go everywhere we want to go. Is that something we want to do to flex bone? To me, it's not the game plan option yet. It's the ability to get people lined up and in coverage calls very quickly to anything that the offense wants to do. All right? All right, they go text or trips to the X. Okay, we don't do anything to the front. We leave the front alone. We leave the box alone. Okay, you come out on this side. All right, your safety doesn't see a number 2. Right? So he knows 1 back, there's no 2, we're going to travel. So let's get into the mixed world over here. Let's get into the mixed world over here, and over here we're back in the bull world. But now we're playing it to another tight end. So you got to teach that corner to play a robber technique so that if that tight end puts his hands on a Sam, we got to insert. I'm playing a deep half. The bull tells us that it is backer in the flat, corner on the half, right? If the tight end is my only threat to the half and he puts his hands on, then I'm going to get ready to insert. Okay? If the tight end tries to release vertical, corner plays the tight end, I've got the first to the flat on the weak side hook curl player. We play our mixed rules over here. We've got 4 on 3. They go 4 strong. All right? We add the will to the deal, and now we've got 5 on 4. Okay, so you could line up in this very simple structure, okay, and you can get lined up to any formation you see just by having safeties relate to 2 and building off of your quarters toolbox. Okay, it is the easiest thing to install. Again, where the game always gets funky for offensive and defensive guys is adjustments, game plans, right? Even if we talked about it from like a motion world, if you wanted to be in the simplest system you could possibly think of, okay, the simplest system you could possibly think of, thinking about saving time, teaching something to younger kids, teaching something to a JV team, okay, the simplest system you could think of. There's 2 by 2. All right, there's our box. I see 2, I relate to them, I make a palm skull. Okay. Fast motion from a back, from a receiver. Fast motion that's going to change strength. All right, 3 spin. Safety to the side goes down, backside safety goes to the middle. Now we're in a 5 under, 3 deep structure, and we're spinning and rotating to motions. All right, so even within the motion world, you could build it in so safe because you're so balanced. You're hybrid. This guy and this guy know their jobs. These 2 inside guys know their jobs, okay? And now the safeties know their jobs relating to 2. Now we're just teaching how to spin, and now we're getting into a 3 deep world where I've got a midpoint, right? Because we're not playing Rip Liz match. We're just checking to some type of country cover 3 with a spin call, rock and roll, whatever you want to call it. So even the motions, it's simple to build it in. You get 5 motion from a receiver, you spin. Now we get into 5 under, 3 deep. Okay? So again, nothing in football is ever that simple. So when I say simple, please don't confuse. There is so much more in the game of football with game plans, option, RPOs, motions, shifts and trades, tempo. Okay, so please don't, forgive me if the word simple offends anybody. Nothing in football is simple. But if you wanted to talk about the fastest, easiest way, I get questions all the time. How do you handle 2 by 2 with a tight end to the boundary? How do you handle 3 by 1? How do you handle? Those are always the questions you're going to get. So my answer is, if you wanted to install something very simple that your kids could handle and come out within the first week and give them 17 formations that they could get lined up to, okay? it's the easiest thing in the world to do. You're balanced, tight front, 3-2 box. You never have to move the box. You never have to make the box 3-1 or anything else. Okay, the first adjustment that you would have to figure out in that world is if they are 21, okay, so let's just say they are a 21 team, and we get the fullback towards the tight end. If we don't want to get out of the tight front, where are we going to make our adjustments? So to me, the first thing we would do is we would just kind of bump our backers a little bit, and we go out here almost to a 40 and a 10. We still have that on the backside. We're playing quarters here to this side, so I'll get an extra hat there, and now I get the steal call, so I'm going to get this guy involved off of that back there. Okay, if it's run game scenarios, as long as, now if that guy is vertical, then we can live in the quarters world, right? We can live in the quarters world, safety's got 2 vertical. If we're in the steal world and everything they do game plan wise is off of this guy, I bump my backers to handle some of the angles that I'm going to get in the tight front, because that's the first thing people are going to say, 3-man surface, tight front, what do you do? And my answer all the time is, the first thing I don't want to do is I don't want to go to under. As soon as I go to under, I've got 2 big bubbles essentially. All right, I've got the big bubble here, I've got another bubble there. They've got me right back in the world that they want to get me in. When I stay in tight, now I eliminate those bubbles. So when I stay 4-eye, head up 4-eye, I've eliminated those bubbles. Yes, they have angles for pin and pull and things. Yeah, we know that. We understand it. We've got to be able to handle that with backer adjustments or coverage steal adjustments. All right, whatever we think we need to do, because we don't want to get out of the tight front. Okay, so for me, I'm going to stay in that tight front as long as I can, because that is the thing that drives offense as well. I don't want them to formation me and say they can get me into under or into shaded fronts, get me right back into a big bubble. I don't want teams to be able to do that. All right, so in that simple 2-high world, we'd have to bump our backers a little bit. Another thing that some teams have done, some teams have taken the backside. All right, some teams have taken the backside outside linebacker, and they've traveled him to the tight end, making him a 7 technique. Okay, and then on the backside, they leave the safety back here, and now they get into the sky world, which on the backside coverage is the same deal. There's a flat player who's also the D-gap player, and then there's a D-pad player. Well, I've lost my backer to play bull over there. I brought my backer over to play a 7 technique here, so now I've got a 4-eye and a 7. All right, I haven't really changed the front, but I've added presence, and I'm still playing quarters on that side. All right, so that's one of the ways that you could adjust it. If you don't want to bump the backers, travel the outside linebacker over to 21, put him in a 7. Now you've got it done that way. Okay, so there's plenty of ways that you can do it to adjust to the things that are going to give you issues. All right, my advice would be don't get out of the tight front every time somebody puts in a 3-man surface, because then game plan wise, every team will just 3-man surface you to get you out of the tight front. If you're a tight front team, if you're a 3-2 box team, if that's how you fit runs, I would try to keep that box as long as physically possible. All right, so in this simple safety related to world, we've got every scenario covered. We're palms, we're quarters, we're steal, we're travel mix, or we're palms poach. We've got 3 receivers covered. All right, we've got everything out. The only other one you could probably look at, if I wanted to be fair, all right, the only one I think you'd have to look at is some type of empty world, to where now my backside safety sees that he's got a 2, so he stays on his side and he makes a palms call, right? Well, if I can't use my backside safety to the front side, I can't play any poach deals. If my Sam is not a guy that can be, all right, if my Sam, for whatever reason, or Jack is not a guy that can be a player that we want to put on 2 vertical, well, now maybe we've got to get into like some type of modified zone coverage deal, to where now we might have to be in a system where we've got to bump the mic a little bit. Now maybe we'll play a version of stump, all right, or stress, some people call it, where now the corner's going to midpoint 1 and 2, all right, the safety's going to midpoint 2 and 3, but if 3's vertical, we're going to lean our safety to 3, he's going to lean to 2, we're going to make the ball try to go to the wide number 1, because he rarely gets it. The Jack is now going to play the flat, but he's going to try and knock 2 down. So on my way to the flat, I'm going to try and knock 2 down, all right, and take away the threat of that vertical. The Mike is going to short wall the 3, all right, to try and knock him down also. Because in the empty world, you could draw out and coach say, oh, coach, I'll just get an empty. You relate to 2, so your safety's got to stay back there. All right, well, if my safety's got to stay back there, then I need coverages that doesn't borrow the backside guy. So we have to be able to teach coverages with the backside safety involved and without the backside safety involved. To me, that's just day 1 install stuff. You better understand what you're doing to the trips, and you better have a way. All right, so the term we use is borrow. Are we going to borrow the backside safety for the trips, yes or no? And we teach our offense, like to me, I teach offense the same way. 3 by 1, do they borrow the backside safety, yes or no? That's going to tell us a lot of what we want to do. So in an empty world, you're going to say, all right, coach, we relate to 2, so he's going to make a palms call. Yeah, you're right. We relate to 2, but I got 3 out here. Okay, well, if it's empty and we teach the kids an empty rule, you have to know that we can't play mix and travel the safeties to an empty rule. Okay, so now we play palms there and maybe a version of stump or stress over here. Okay, so you got to understand, obviously, again, there's no such thing as straightforward simple. Football's too involved. That's what makes it so great. That's why we all love it. All right, but if you wanted the simplest, safest, easy way to get a consistent box, consistent run fits, consistent play from your outside backers, and some type of consistent, fast method of getting into coverage calls with your safeties and corners, that is what I suggest. All right, so then you got to build in, obviously you build in movements, you build in pressures. That's down the road. We're talking about a very similar. When people ask me, hey, if you had to design something for a middle school program or a JV football program, and you don't want to do all the things that your varsity does. Tight front, 3-2 box. All right, 2 high safeties relate to 2. Give them 4 things that they can do based on where the 2 is and roll from there. Are you going to get some formations that are funky? Yes, everybody sees them. Those are not a high percentage of the time. Have your answers to deal with those and deal with them in a low percentage. I'd be working all the things that I saw 90% of the time. I'd be working 2 by 2, 3 by 1, 20 personnel or 11 personnel, 2 twins, single receiver back there, sniffer, maybe he could go 3 vertical, maybe he's on the weak side. I'd be working those structures 70% of the time, and the other 30% of the time I'd be working the structures that you may see throughout the year. All right, so again, I hope this video helps you guys out there for anybody that wants to play like 2 high quarters toolbox stuff. I appreciate everything you guys do for Play Fast Football. Thank you for watching. We just reached 23,500 subscribers, so thank you very much. If you're not a subscriber, click the subscription button. If you are, turn the notifications on so you know every time we do a video, you'll get the notification that there's a video out, or if I go YouTube Live, you'll get a notification that I am on YouTube Live. All right, so again, thank you for all you guys. Leave a comment. I respond to every comment that I can get to. So if you leave a comment, thumbs up, thumbs down, whether you like the video or don't like the video, lets me know what you want to see or what you don't want to see. All right, appreciate everything you do. Hope your install, your camp stuff is going. We're getting ready to play a game next week. So good luck to everybody out there that's doing it. Thank you for what you do for Play Fast Football. Remember, you won't play